Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you. All right, welcome to episode 170 of 15 Minutes of Genius. Been a while since we've had an episode. We're coming back strong. Our last episode was great with Rising Tide MCT creamer with lion's mane. It's a pretty awesome product. And this week we have David Delcourt. He is I'd call you the chief flavor officer, right? Is that the correct term?
Chief of flavor, chief flavor. I'll take either one. That sounds great.
Cool. So chief
new,
of
new
flavor.
CFO.
CFO, the other CFO, right? I'm sure you're both CFOs, right? Because it's a company that's growing and we wear a lot of hats. So, but he is the founder, CEO, CFO, other CFO, CMO of GrownAs Foods, and also you have your Seed Ranch sauces as well. David, welcome to our show. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Cool. All right. Well, I like to actually front load something that's going to be happening. We can be a little vague about it, and we can talk however much you want to dig into it. But there's going to be some kind of campaign that you're going to be starting, likely later in the summer or early fall. We can kind of preview it here if you want, so you can talk about as much as you want of it now. I just wanted to front load that in this episode for you.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate your support along those lines too. Yeah, indeed. I mean, I'll just say that it's an exercise in business building and community building. It's both in terms of product and in terms of reach, in terms of really an evangelist community around building this platform for flavor that we set out to do. Me at the farmers market in 2017, and fast forwarding to today, and over 900 stores with our GrownAs Foods brand, and over 1,400 stores with Seed Ranch Flavor Co. So I'm really excited to bring a lot of the CPG community into the fold. It's always interesting when you, let's say, let people in behind the curtain, and that's a little hesitation and also excitement to say, well, this is what it looks like. This is the sexy, dirty truth of running a CPG company. You've got to have an incredible product. You got to hustle just like you do, Alex, with Genius Juice, just like so many of us do in the CPG world, and bring everybody to one end goal of building a kind of better for you future, but that still tastes absolutely incredible and delivers day to day, for you, for your family, for your friends, at your kitchen table, at your office, on the move. So that's where we'll keep it now, but you'll be hearing from me a lot on LinkedIn and other spots, all about what we're up to.
Cool. And we'll definitely be announcing it not only on my LinkedIn. We're also going to have some future episodes of CPG Vibes where we'll talk about what's going on in the community, different programs, different ways for community outreach. So we'll definitely make sure to echo your announcement as well. That's coming closer, I would say, probably to September, October. So we'll get into that. So stay tuned for that announcement. So as you can, for those that are watching, right, if you're listening, you can't see what this guy has on right now, but he has a famous yellow jumpsuit, something almost out of Kill Bill. In a way, you're like the male version of Uma Thurman right now. So tell us more about, I want to start with that. Where'd you get the idea to have a yellow freaking jumpsuit wherever you go at trade shows as a personality of the brand? So tell us your idea behind that.
It's an extension of the brand at the end of the day. So Seed Ranch Flavor Co., which is still the overall company, right? We started as a farmers market brand, better for you, clean ingredients, sophisticated flavors for everyday use was really the moniker the kernel that I took. And it's great. It's very modern, simple, white label in a sea of fiery things on the shelf when it comes to hot sauce. With GrownAs Foods, we looked at the category of mac and cheese, and what we saw was a lot of colors. So iconic blue box, you have your Annie's purple box, but it's a pretty, it's not drab, but it's just unichrome colors, right? You think about Bonza, they own that orange and cream kind of color.
Mm-hmm.
So we wanted to be what I would call the cereal box in the mac and cheese section. We wanted to bring some Tony the Tiger to the front. And in the process, we worked with a great group called Human Design here out of Boulder, who I've known for some time, and kind of brought our idea about classic nostalgia meeting modernism. And together with them, I really feel like we developed this loud but respectful, irreverent but also human brand that people could relate to, that kids would love, that adults could chuckle at. At the same time, it pops on shelf in a set and looks different. So my tracksuit was really just a continuation of the brand. It was almost accidental that it was the Kill Bill colors. Kill Bill was not in our brand board, we'll say, as we were developing it. And we got these embroidered here locally by this wonderful woman in Boulder. And I have 2 of them. So if you see me 2 days in a row, just know I'm not that stinky. It's just I've got 2 tracksuits, and I wear them on the plane. I wear them everywhere, because at the end of the day, who knows when someone's gonna meet you out on the golf course with your Genius Juice hat on, right? It's an opportunity to sell your brand. And at Expo West, you going in and the security guards are checking your ID, you remember this year, and looking at your badge. And I swear to a T, from the security guards to random people, they're like, love the tracksuit, Kill Bill, from and then Enter the Dragon were the 2, like Bruce Lee, Kill Bill I kept getting.
Right.
So it's a way to speak loudly and start a conversation, because at the end of the day, that's what I want. I want people to discover us and know what we're all about.
Exactly. I would. It was a good move that you didn't embrace the full Kill Bill character, bringing in a Japanese samurai sword into Expo West. I don't think they would allow that in there.
They might not have liked that so much. No.
But I can see you probably wanting to. Do you do martial arts at all? Because you got the Bruce Lee Kill Bill thing, or no?
I did a little bit when I was younger, and in our warehouse here, there's a big jujitsu contingency who's been trying to kind of pull me into that side. So I understand, and I probably should. It should go with the brand, right? That makes entirely a lot of sense. But you've just planted a seed on top of a lot of seeds that have been planted in the last 3 months. So
right, and you're only one person with 24 hours in a day. Actually, let me correct that with sleep, 22 hours in a day.
Yeah.
So your product line here. So you have, I just showed a little screenshot of it. I'll re-present it here. It's a new feature that we have on our show here, but I just want to show the branding of it because it's super cool, classic. And then we have the Truffle, authentic mac and cheese. I've had this. It is absolutely fucking delicious. I mean, I'm not just saying that because he's here in front of me. He sent me some samples. I also bought it in Sprouts. Tastes amazing. I'm getting some tonight to cook for my wife. We talked to someone earlier today. He's like, I'm going to cook this for my wife too. So like, where in the 3 or 4 minutes we have, like, where did when did you dream up, I want to make a better mac and cheese, I want to get into this space? Like, what was the initial kind of inspiration that made you want to go into this segment?
So I'm a single dad, have my kids half the time. And they were, during the pandemic, between school at home, all these, I was cooking them a ton of mac and cheese because it's so easy and it's quick and they'd eat it. And that was mainly Annie's. They were huge Annie's fans. I've been plant-based for going on 8 years now, and I wanted to share that experience with them. Also have one pot, something easy everybody can eat, that's healthy enough that I feel good about, not adding peas or, chopped kale in it or something like that, and making it like, okay, let's make it healthy. So it was about 3 months, I just started playing in the kitchen and asked them over and over, hey, what do you think about this mac and cheese? What do you think about it? And the first couple, they were like, that's fine, but they didn't finish their bowl. And I've talked with Mark Samuel over at I Want Organics about kids, because they don't lie about food. You know, if a 7-year-old finishes a bowl, that's the highest marks of accomplishment that you can get, right? So we developed that. GrownAs, the product was born. It wasn't the brand yet, but for the rest of the pandemic and on, you know, they were asking me, hey, we want Papa's mac and cheese. We don't want the box stuff. And so it was, as a part of that process, I knew I wanted to stay to our kind of core mission, vision, values, which is around, you know, healthy food, but that is not health food. It tastes great, even though it just happens to be better for you. So you get 10 grams of protein per serving, 0 cholesterol, 0 dairy, but the flavor, right? And it's not just flavor in terms of the taste, but the consistency. As you know, you've had it. You want something that mimics exactly the cathartic feeling you had as a kid, or, you know, as a teenager or as a college student. Mac and cheese tastes like mac and cheese, right? And then the truffle was a fun side. We already do our truffle hound with Seed Ranch. It's a unique SKU to the set, and we use real black truffle in there, so it actually tastes like truffle. It's not like truffle oil.
So good.
And so that's really the inception story around the product.
Yeah, and you have some other things here. I know we're short on time. We'd like to we do our best to live up to the actual name of 15 minutes, even though we're over time most of the time. But there's also, alongside that, it just goes great, the Truffle Hound sauce, right? That's also integrated into the mac and cheese. You have a GrownAs vegan cheese powder. The other thing, which I already know the story, but I'm going to play dumb, is the name. Because when I first saw the name on LinkedIn and I saw your booth at Fancy Food Show in Vegas, where we first met in person, I was thinking it was GrownAs foods, like, and this is good ass foods, like that whole slang that's been happening the last 10 years. So tell me, like, the twist on that. Is it GrownAs? Is it GrownAs foods? Like, how did you want to play that with your marketing?
Clearly the asterisk is there, so the suggestion is there. However, the name is both GrownAs, in the sense that everything we do is grown. Everything we do is plant-based. So it's grown from the soil, it's grown from plants. And then there's the side of, hey, your GrownAs should be eating better food. And so we wanted to play on that. We wanted, with MacMan, something that kids would, you know, really be attracted to, and then adults could get into. But we wanted it to be grown food. It's not cultivated. It's grown food. It's not pastured. So it really is that the focus on GrownAs foods, you know, being the extent.
Cool. You heard it here. You heard it here. The whole story, the background on it. Go out to any Sprouts in the country, right, to buy GrownAs Mac, their original, and also the Truffle, and then a bunch of other stores around the country. You have a store locator right on your website somewhere.
Yeah, I think on Seed Ranch. Seed Ranch is also national with Sprouts.
And Seed Ranch.
So both brands are in there nationally. Very excited. The Seed Ranch side is in the deli section. So if you don't find it in the hot sauce section, go over to the deli.
Perfect. And I see a huge lineup here of different, like, Truffle Fire. There's other ones that are online. There's ones that are in Sprouts. So really, really delicious stuff. I love how you're integrating the sauce with also the mac and cheese. That's a great idea. Well, we are running out of time. We have 2 minutes. We're going to go into our next segment, which is called Rapid Fire Questions.
Rapid Fire Questions.
All right. So we ask you 15 questions. You answer as quickly as possible. You have about a minute and a half to answer. Here we go. You're like, okay, I'm going to eat something here. Get some protein.
Little mint to get the saliva going. You know?
Right. It's going to be fast. So you'll need plenty of saliva here to get through this. All right. So for music, which decade is the best? The 70s, 80s, or 90s?
90s. I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, and I really came into my own in the 90s. So yeah, going there.
What do you do for exercise?
Besides
track.
Big climber. Love lifting in the gym. I play soccer whenever I can. And then I live in Boulder, so lots of hiking and mountain biking off in the mountains.
Cool. Movie you can watch an unlimited amount of times.
Jaws.
Jaws. That's funny. My nephew and my sister were over and traveled. They traveled here, and for family movie night, we watched Jaws, which scared the living shit out of my nephew. But he's like, I never want to go in. I mean, he's 7 years old. He's never going to want to go into an ocean ever again in his life. That's why there's fresh water, right?
Yeah,
There's
exactly. Lakes and rivers just stick,
no sharks in there. Just fish. So chocolate or vanilla?
Vanilla when it comes to ice cream, chocolate when it comes to most other things.
Favorite country to travel to?
Gonna go with France. That's where the majority of my family is. So yeah.
Yep, makes sense. I definitely could have guessed that one. So favorite Star Wars character?
I'm just rewatching them all with my 12-year-old right now, and that's a hard one. I mean, Obi-Wan Kenobi is such an underrated character, I think, in many ways. But maybe let's just go with Obi-Wan because we're running out of time. He's great.
Yep. What is your spirit animal?
Dog.
Dog.
Yep. Hound.
Hound. You like to drive an SUV, a coupe, or a truck?
SUV. I have 2 kids and a business where I have to occasionally go to Costco and buy, 160 gallons of vinegar at times. So I need the space.
Yeah, I think SUV is a good play for anyone in the CPG business, events, bring in sample product, equipment, all that stuff, because you cook it on site. For food, salty or sweet?
Salty. Yep.
I could have guessed that one as well. Favorite day of the week and why?
Big fan of Thursdays. It's kind of getting towards the weekends are, well, you know what they're like. A lot of times I end up working on the weekends, but Thursday nights are my soccer games. My boys and I always go hit up pizza, and yeah, it's a good spot.
Awesome. Yeah, I love Thursdays as well. So Uber or Lyft?
Lyft. I get 5x points with my Chase
Your card.
Ultimate Rewards on Lyft, so they get my business.
That Chase card, man. I'm wondering when that thing's going to just fall apart from being, charged for all your business expense. Every time you post a photo.
Chase Inc. It's gotten a beating. It's true.
Yeah, it's the beater card for sure. LeBron James or Michael Jordan or Kobe Bryant, greatest of all time?
I grew up in Chicago in the 90s.
Jordan.
Michael Jordan.
All the way. Terminator 1 or Terminator 2? Which one do you like better?
2. I mean, Arnold is a good guy, was way better than Arnold is a bad guy, just in my humble opinion.
Exactly. Yeah, actually, we had Patrick Schwarzenegger on our show.
Cool.
He was on our 100th anniversary episode show, and I was very curious what he was going to say. Terminator 1, the original, his dad is a badass. He's still a badass in both, but he's a bad guy versus a good guy. And almost immediately he's like 2. Like it didn't even have to pause. And I'm like, well, he's younger generation. He wasn't even born when the first one came out. He was very young when the second one, very, very young, I think, when the second one came out. All right. Favorite food or drink if you're stuck on a deserted island, you cannot say GrownAs foods or
I was like, wait a second. I know exactly what I'm going to say. Oh, man. Food or drink. I don't drink any flat water pretty much, like ever. So I'm going to go with sparkling water because it's probably going to be flour, but sparkling water, flavored sparkling water.
Cool. All right. Well, that's the 15 questions. We finished in about 4 minutes. All good, though. Yeah, we got the complete answers, and I added comments, too. So if you'd like to buy GrownAs Foods, Sprouts National, a bunch of other stores, also Seed Ranch Flavor Company. They're also in Sprouts nationally and many other natural stores across the country. And if you want to give us 5 stars for 15 Minutes of Genius, go on Apple Podcast. We also have CPG Vibes, as everyone knows, which is on Fridays at 2:30 p.m., 5:30 Eastern. And I think that's about it. So, David, thank you for being on our show. Also, your website, seedranchflavor.com is one, and GrownAs with AS GrownAsFoods.com if you'd like to buy the product or find out more information.
Awesome. Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it.
Thanks for being on, for having me. You're the host now. And we appreciate everyone for viewing, and take good care and stay genius.
Genius for life. Coconut smoothies coming at you.